Welcome to the Word Part 1 class at the Ela Area Public Library. This is an abridged version of the class normally held in person. While the library is currently closed, you may still access our handouts on the website eapl.org. From the home page of our website, you will then go here to Research, followed by Reference Department at Home, and then click Computer Class Handouts. And then from this page, you can scroll down to Word, or you can select Word from the links at the top, and that will bring us directly to our Word handouts. Here's Word 1, so we're going to click Download to the right, and that will bring up our handout. As you can see, we are looking at version 2013, because that is a version we have installed at the library. However, if you have a later version of Word, you will still find this class to be useful. You may also want to print the document here at the right, or you may want to download it to your computer. So let's go back to the class handouts page so we can access the document we're going to use in class, located here, typed document. So we're going to click that once. If you have Chrome as your browser, you will receive a button here in the lower left. So we can click the arrow, and from there we will select Open, like so. If you have a browser other than Chrome, you may need to retrieve your document elsewhere. It may be in your Downloads folder, or you may be given the option to save the document to whichever folder you like. If your document opens up in Protected View, you will need to click Enable Editing before you can work on it. Before we begin, let's open up a blank Word document in addition to our typed document. So we're going to go here to the blue File tab in the upper left. We'll click that, and then from the menu that appears on the left-hand side, we'll select New, and then we'll select Blank Document, and now we've also opened up a blank Word document. After you open Word on your computer, the Word program will appear as shown here. Before we begin, let's examine this bar that takes up the top portion of the Word program. This bar is called the ribbon, and the ribbon consists of commands, groups, and tabs. All of these icons that you see on the ribbon are commands. A command is an individual action you could take in your Word document. For example, the command that looks like the letter B will make your text bold. If you are unsure of what a specific command means, for example, let's examine this command with the yellow bar below it. You simply move your cursor on top of the command, and a box will pop up with the definition. So this is a text highlight color command. The second portion of the ribbon that we're going to cover are the groups. The groups contain similar commands, and they are listed along the bottom of the ribbon. For example, here on the left-hand side is the clipboard group. To the right of that is the font group. You'll see that the font group contains the bold command. To the right of that is a paragraph group. You may notice that some groups, such as the paragraph group, have a small arrow in the lower right-hand corner. That is a dialog box launcher. A dialog box launcher provides more options that relate to that group. So in that case, we click the dialog box launcher, and a pop-up will appear with even more available commands for that group. When you are finished, simply click the red X to close. The third portion of the ribbon for us to cover are the tabs. Tabs are these all caps words located towards the top of the ribbon. They help us to further organize similar groups and commands, beginning with the Home tab, followed by Insert, Design, Page Layout, References, mailings, review, and view. You may also notice this blue File tab. We will cover that tab shortly. Let's click back on the Home tab, and now we can begin to enter our text. Our text will appear here, wherever you see the blinking cursor in the main portion of the Word program. Let's begin by typing our first name, and then let's hit the Enter key. You'll notice that after you hit Enter, we will move down one full space. So let's hit Enter again, and now we move down another full space. Let's follow that up by typing our last name, and then we'll hit Enter. Now that we've added some text, let's look at the bottom of the Word program. Here on the lower left, you will see the word count. Right now, we only have 4 words in our document. Here on the lower right is the zoom feature. Right now, it's at 100%. If you move over to the right, you will zoom in so the text appears larger. And then if you move to the left, you will zoom out and our text will appear smaller. But let's go back to 100%. Now let's save and rename our document. Although it's not much of a document, it will work to demonstrate the saving process. Before we do that, if you look here at the very top, notice it reads Document 1. That is the default name given to the document by Word until we give it our own name. So to do that, let's go here to the blue File tab that we mentioned earlier. And then from the list on the left, we want to choose Save As the first time we save a document. So we'll click Save As. And then in this middle column, we want to save it to our computer, like so. Then on the right, we have a list of folders where we can save our document. If you have a specific folder in mind, you can select the Browse button and then direct your document into that folder. However, we're going to simply click on the Documents folder. That will bring up a pop-up box, and before we save it, we're going to give it a new name. If you look here towards the bottom where it reads File Name, it reads First Name. That's because Word took the first line of our document and created a name out of that first line. We want to call it something different. And since it's highlighted blue, we can type directly over that name. So let's rename it to My Document, like so, and then click the Save button here in the lower right. And now if you look up towards the top of the document, you'll see the new name here. When you wish to close your document, the easiest way to do so is with the X here in the upper right-hand corner. However, we're going to keep this document open, and then we're going to switch to our other Word document, the typed document, which is the same document that we retrieved from the library website. This is a portion of the well-known poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Throughout the text of the poem, you will notice that some words are underlined in red and some are underlined in blue. A red underline indicates a misspelled word, or at least a word that Word thinks is misspelled, while a blue underline indicates a grammatical error. Fortunately, Word has its own built-in spell and grammar check, and it works in 2 ways. The first way is one word at a time. So let's go to the misspelled word midnight, and we'll right-click that word. That will bring up a contextual menu with 2 possible corrections. The top one makes the most sense. So let's click that, and it will correct the misspelled word here. Let's go to the next word, pondered or pond red, or something like that. We'll right-click again. This will bring up 5 options, but again, we'll select the one that makes the most sense, which in this case is pondered. So we'll click that, and that'll correct our spelling here. The other way to check our spelling and grammar is with the spelling and grammar command located in the Review tab. So we'll click the Review tab and then Spelling and Grammar here on the left. That will open up a task pane. You'll see that the first word that we're looking at is someone. And if you look at the text, you'll see that someone is highlighted. So let's go back to our pane. And the box here contains the correction. So according to Word, someone should be a single compound word as opposed to two words. So in that case, we will click Change, and that will correct our error in the text. The task pane will then move to the next error in our document, the misspelling of the word chamber. Before we make a change, notice these three buttons to the top and these two on the bottom. The first three options are if you do not want to change the word, in which case you could hit ignore or ignore all if it's located frequently throughout the document, or add if you wish to add it to your word dictionary. You may want to do that with a proper name, for example. The bottom two are change if you wish to change it, and then change all if you know it's located throughout the document and you want to change them all. In this case, we will hit change. And there again, we've made our correction in the text. The next recognized error in the document is the word tis. This is an archaic English term that we want to keep. So in that case, we're going to click ignore, but better yet, let's choose ignore all because it is located more than once in the document. And from then on, let's go ahead and make our other corrections where needed, like so. And when we are done, a box will pop up that says spelling and grammar check complete. You're good to go, and then we will click OK. Now that we've made our corrections, we're going to look at the cut, copy, and paste features. So first, let's go back to the Home tab, and then we're going to look at the clipboard group here on the left-hand side of the ribbon. Let's first copy the title and then paste it at the bottom of the poem. So we're going to highlight the raven first, then click Copy in the clipboard group. Then we'll scroll to the bottom of our poem and then click Paste. And now we've added the title at the bottom of the poem as well as at the top. We can also copy and paste an entire paragraph. So we're going to highlight the first paragraph of the poem. Again, click Copy. We'll scroll back down to the bottom, click below where it says The Raven, and then we'll click Paste. And now we've added the first paragraph to the bottom of our poem. We can also copy from one Word document and paste into another. So let's go back to our first document, My Document. We'll highlight our first name, click Copy. Then we'll go back to the Raven. Let's add a space below this paragraph, and then we'll click Paste. So now we've copied from one document and pasted into another. We can also copy text from the internet or even images. So let's go to the library website, eapl.org, and now we'll select the About Us link at the top, and then from the top of that page, we're going to right-click on the image of the library, then select Copy Image. Then we'll move back here to our typed document, and then click Paste. So now we've added the image of the library into our document. This is a good time to talk about the undo command, since we've added a lot of clutter to our poem. The undo command is here in the upper left. this curved blue arrow pointing towards the left. Each time we click undo, it will undo our previous action. So if we click it once, it will undo the pasting of the image of the library. If we click undo again, it will undo the pasting of our first name. So we'll continue to click undo until we go back to our original poem. We are now going to cut and paste. The primary difference between copy and cut is that when you copy an item, you replicate the original item and then copy it elsewhere. When you cut, you remove the item from its original location and then paste it into another location. So let's highlight the title and the author. Now we'll select Cut from the ribbon, scroll to the bottom, and then paste. So now the title and the author is here at the bottom of our poem. Regarding the paste command, you may have noticed that it's broken up into two components, a top portion and a bottom portion. The top portion is a simple, straightforward paste. The bottom portion with this arrow, let's click that arrow and you'll see that it gives us multiple paste options. We don't cover those in this class, but if you are interested in learning more about them, you are welcome to refer to your handout. So far, we have used the ribbon to cut, copy, and paste. Another way to do that is through keyboard shortcuts. Let's look at a list of our common keyboard shortcuts here. You'll notice all of them start with the Control key. So in each case, you type the Control key, hold it down, and then select another key on the keyboard. So Control C is copy, Control V is paste, Control X is cut, Control A is select all text, and we will use that a few times in this class. Control B will make your text bold, Control I will make it italics, and Control U will underline your text. So let's use a keyboard shortcut to copy our last paragraph. So we're going to highlight that, then select Control C, and then at the bottom we're going to select Control V. So now we've copied and pasted with a keyboard shortcut. Now let's click undo as many times as we need to, so we go back to our original poem. And now we're going to look at the font group here. With the font group, we can make changes to our text. Let's first look here on the left side of the group, the letters B, I, and U. So we're going to highlight the title, and now let's click B. And you'll see that has made our text bold. If we want to unbold the text, we simply highlight it again and then click B again. If we highlight our text and select the I, we've made it italics. And then the U will make our text underlined. You can also do all three at once, like so. We can also change the size of our text. So the font size is located towards the middle top of the group. Right now our size is 11. So if we highlight the title and click the arrow, we have all these various sizes from which to choose. Let's choose 20, and now we've made our text larger. Let's now change the font for the entire poem. So first, we'll use the keyboard shortcut Control A, and that will highlight all of our text. Now we'll go back up to the font group, and here where it reads Calibri, that's a default word font and the current font in our document. If we select the arrow next to that, you'll see we get an amazing amount of different font styles. So let's try Times New Roman. and I'll click away to unhighlight so you can get a better look at the font. Now let's change our font again, and then we'll change the color of our font. So again, we'll highlight all of our text, and then we'll go up to the font styles and scroll down here to Franklin Gothic Book and select. Then we'll go to the font color command, which is the A with the red bar below it. We'll click the down arrow and then choose a dark purple color. And now we've changed our font style and color. Let's examine some of the other commands in the font group. This command here that looks like an ABC with a line through it, that's the strike through command. So if we highlight our title and select strike through, you'll see that it puts a line through the center of our title. We do not need this command for our poem, but it could be useful in a legal document. To the right of the strike through command is the subscript command, and then to the right of that is the superscript command, which will type very small letters just above the line of text. So let's use that in the title to add the date in which it was published. So first, we'll click at the end of the title and then add a space. Then we'll select the superscript command, like so. And now the Raven was published in 1845. So we'll type that, and now we've added superscript to the title. The last command in the font group for us to cover is this command here with the yellow bar, the text highlight color command. Let's select the name of the author, then we'll click the arrow next to that command and choose yellow. So now we've highlighted the author name in yellow. And now we're going to undo that before we move on to the next portion. Now let's look at text alignment. So we're going to go here towards the middle of the ribbon to the paragraph group. And we're going to look at these 4 commands here on the lower left. And they are in order: align left, center, align right, and justify. Let's center our text first. To begin, we'll highlight just the title and then click the center command, and now we've centered the title. Now let's undo that and then highlight all of the text and hit center again. So now we've centered all of the text in the document. Notice that while our text is centered, the center command is highlighted in blue. In addition, if you put your cursor on top of the command, the pop-up box will give you the keyboard shortcut. It reads Control-E at the top. So if you would rather use your keyboard shortcut, Control-E will center your text. Let's look at our next 2 alignment commands. To the right of the center command is align right, which will align our text to the right side of the document. To the right of that is the justify command. The justify command will distribute your text evenly between the margins. It does not work well with a poem, but it does work well for a professional document or for a book. Let's go back to align left before we move on to our next section. We are now going to add a picture to our document. First, let's unhighlight the text, and then we'll click the Insert tab, and we're going to look at the Illustrations group here. If you already have a picture on your computer that you wish to use, then you would use the Pictures command. We're going to select Online Pictures, and then from the box that pops up, we're going to do a Bing image search. So let's type Raven in the search box and then click Enter. And that will bring up a number of photos of ravens. We do not cover copyright issues in this class, but just know that we are in the Creative Commons, so you can select any of these photos without worry of copyright infringement. If you do wish to look outside the Creative Commons, then you can uncheck this box here, but we're not going to do that. So now we're going to select a picture and then click Insert, and then that will add our picture into our document. You may notice a new tab at the top of the ribbon. It's a purple tab called Picture Tools. That is called a contextual tab. So it's a tab that's not a normal part of the ribbon, but it will appear with certain features like working with an image or with a chart or something of that nature. We will use the Picture Tools command shortly to add a frame, but let's look at our image first. You'll notice an outline around it, and at each corner and at each side there's a small square. Those are known as resize handles. So let's resize our image first. If we wish to make it larger, we select one of the resize handles like so, and then when we get this double-sided arrow, we can click and hold and then drag outward, and now I've made the image larger. If you click and hold on the resize handle and drag inward, you will make the image smaller. The difference between the resize handles on the corners and the sides is if you use a corner resize handle, you will maintain the same proportions of the original image. If you use one on the side, for example, if I select the resize handle on the right-hand side and drag outward, I've changed the proportion of the image so that it appears larger. And I'm going to undo that. In addition, we have this arrow, this curved arrow at the top, that will rotate the image if we wish to do so. So I'm going to click that, and then you'll see I can rotate the image like so. We are now going to move our image to the upper right-hand side of the document. This can be tricky, however. To move an image, we click and hold within the image and then drag it to wherever we wish it to go. However, we can't seem to drag this at all. We can move the image downward, but you'll see it interferes with the text. So we need to find a way to make it easier to move our image. So let's look at the Picture Tools tab, and then towards the right, you'll see a Wrap Text command. Choose how your text wraps around the selected object. So let's click that arrow. This will bring up a menu of different options. We're going to choose in front of text. So now that seems like our picture interferes even more with the text. As you can see, it's in front of some of the text. However, now if we click and hold, we can easily move it to wherever we wish. So we're going to put it up here in the upper right, like so. The last thing we're going to do with our image is add a frame. So if you look in the Picture Tools tab, we have a group called Picture Styles. And if you click this down arrow, you can see all of them here. As you move your cursor over the various styles, you will get a preview of that frame in the document. So select one that you like, and now we've added a frame. Let's move our image downward slightly so that it aligns better with our text. And now we're going to talk about printing. To print, first of all, we click the blue File tab, like so, and then Print is here on the left-hand side in the middle of the list. So we will click Print, and then that will give us a preview here over to the right. Let's look at our printing options in this column towards the middle left. When we are ready to print, we click the square print button here. If we wish to print more than one copy, we can do so here with the up arrow, or if you wish, you can simply type the number of copies you wish. To select the printer, you will click the arrow here under Printer. And then below the printer, we have our settings. So here it reads print all pages, or if you wish, you could select to print only a specific amount of pages. For example, you could type pages 2 through 4. Of course, it does not apply to us because we only have a single page. Below that, you can choose to print one-sided, or you could print on both sides. Another key setting is orientation. So if we go here where it reads portrait orientation and click the arrow, we can change from portrait to landscape as shown in our preview. Another key setting is paper size. So right now you can see we're on letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. But if we wish to change the size of our paper, we would click the arrow here. While we are in the File tab, we can also convert our document to a PDF file. To do so, we select Export, and then you'll see here in the middle, Create PDF/XPS document is highlighted. So then we'll simply click the Create PDF button here on the right. We are not going to create a PDF because that is all the time we have for Word Part 1. So let's click Close here on the left and then save our changes. And on that note, thank you for attending Word Part 1 at the Ela Area Public Library.